So number 1, suppose the particle moves along a curve of acceleration defined by at equals negative 32t plus 6. Find the equation of position st if the initial position started at 3 meters with a velocity of 10 meters per second at t1. So the question here is find the equation of the position st if the initial position started at 3. So based off this given information, we know that at s of the initial position, which is 0, equals 3. The next given information is velocity of 10 meters per second. So we already know that our velocity at 10 meters per second equals 1. We also know the equation of our acceleration, which is at equals negative 32 t plus 6. So here, in order to find the speed, we must first find the velocity. So in order to find the velocity from the acceleration, we take the antiderivative of the equation. So the antiderivative of this equation would be v of t equals negative 32 t squared divided by 2 plus 6t. This is because to find the antiderivative, you would have your number plus your exponent plus 1 divided by n plus 1. That's how you'd find the antiderivative. So from here we have v equals t. So 32 divided by 2 would be 16. Negative 16 t squared plus 6t. So from here we have the velocity is vt equals negative 16 t squared plus 6. Here we can plug in this given information of v of 10 equals 1. So in that case we put v. Oh, well, this should be switched around actually. My bad. This is velocity of 10 meters per second at t equals 1. So our t would be 1 and this would equal 10. So switch it the other way around. So in this case we put v of 1 equals negative 16 times 1 to the squared plus 6 times 1 equals 10. This is because at each of t we plug in the value of 1. And if we were to simplify that, it would be v of 1 equals negative 16 plus 6 equals 10. Oh, don't forget that, plus c. And I'm forgetting a lot of things today. So this should be, so once you find the antiderivative, you always add the plus c. So this would be plus c equals 10, plus c equals 10. It's good to catch your mistakes at that and go step by step. So in this case, this should actually be written better. This should be plus c equals 10. So in this case, we have negative 16 plus 6 plus c equals 10. So we can simplify that even more. We have negative 10 plus c equals 10. So in this case, we had to isolate c by itself, so then we add 10 to the side. So v of 1 equals c, which equals 20, because you're adding 10 to the other side. So your c equals 20, and therefore you can plug that back into this equation here. So v of t would now equal negative 16t squared plus 6t plus 20, since you already found out what c is. So from here, now you can find s. So then you find the antiderivative of vt equals negative 16t squared plus 6t plus 20, because that's in order to find this one. So you'd have s of t. So do the same thing, which would be negative 16t. You add 1 to the exponent, so it'd be 3. So it'd be negative 16t to the cubed over 3 again, plus 6. 2, you add 1 again, so this would be 2 over 2 plus 20t. So now you can simplify from here, but I don't think you can simplify that into a better equation. So this would just be the same. So it would be st equals negative 16t is cubed over 3 plus, so 6 divided by 2 is 3, so it would be 3t squared and plus 20t, and don't forget your c. So now you're left with this equation after you find the antiderivative of vt. So now we're given this equation, we can use our final piece of information, which is s of 0 equals 3. So in this case we enter the value 0. So s of 0 equals negative 16 zeros cubed over 3 plus 3 times 3 squared plus 20 times 3 plus c equals 3. So now we can simplify the equation. So since all these are zeros, we know that s of 0 is going to be 0 plus c equals 3. In this case, we already know that if we were to simplify this would just be c equals 3. Now that we find our final piece of information, we can plug that back into this equation, where we're able to find that st will equal negative 16 over 3 t is cubed plus 3t squared plus 20t plus 3. And that's your final answer. So just for a basic review again, we just have to look at the equation carefully and look at all the information given. So our first information given of all is our acceleration equation. And our second piece of information is st if the initial position started at 3. So it's saying that at s of 0, the equation equals 3. And our last piece of information is velocity, which is velocity of 10 meters per second at t equals 1, meaning that at 1, which is the time, it'll equal 10. And then so from there, we once again look at the acceleration equation, and we have to find the antiderivative so that we get the velocity. So so this would be your antiderivative equation of acceleration, and then you'd solve from there with the given information of v of 1 equals 10. So then for every t, you plug in the value 1 equal to 10. And there you can solve for c. So then after you simplify, you find c, you can plug that back into the original equation and get your new velocity equation, which is vt equals negative 16t squared plus 6t plus 20. And then once again, to find s of t, you have to find the antiderivative of this new equation. And from there, you just do the same steps as we did for acceleration. And then once you find the antiderivative, we should have forgot the c again. Don't forget c, because after you find the antiderivative, you always have to add plus c, which is the constant. So after you find this equation, you can then plug in. So this would be your antiderivative equation of velocity. So once you find that, you can plug in your last piece of information, which is s of 0 equals 3. So here for every value of t, you plug in the value 0. This should not be 3, it should be 0. Wow, I'm forgetting skipping a lot of stuff today. So these should be the input of 0. So this would cancel out, that would cancel out, this would cancel out, and you're left with just c equals 3, which you can plug back into the equation. And there you have st equals negative 16 over 3, t is cubed, plus 3t squared plus 20t plus 3. That's the solved equation.